Hello and welcome to my Year 11 VCE English students. Today is Monday, May the 4th, and I wanted to spend 2 minutes briefly going through your learning tasks for today as well as tomorrow. As you can see on your screen, we have our Practice SAC. It is that time of the term, and there are 2 prompts for you to consider. Before I discuss these very briefly, those students who are doing To Kill a Mockingbird, I will speak to you on Webex once I have spoken to the rest of the class. Very quickly, you'll have 2 documents here, and they are located under Learning Tasks. The first is, of course, your Practice SAC topics, and the second is an essay prompt planning resource that we used about a week ago that I have extended for today's purpose. The first prompt: Shakespeare suggests it is fate more than the actions of any one individual that caused Macbeth's downfall. Discuss. And the second: it is Macbeth's ambition which causes him to lose everything. Write an essay about your opinion on this topic. Have a really good think about both of these prompts. You should have some arguments ready to go for both of them. I would urge you to actually plan and unpack both prompts, then choose one to write on. However, if you are certain with either prompt 1 or 2, go straight ahead and start planning. The first thing we do, as we know, and I will keep it brief, is we break down the prompt. We need to make meaning of it. If there are any unknown words, we define them. We find synonyms for them. We think of different ways to express the word or the phrase. We brainstorm ideas. We start to think about our major responses, rather our major examples for our response. Answer any questions if they are posed in the prompt. And again, break it down into individual parts if that makes sense. So the first thing I would do with prompt 1 is, firstly, I would think about fate, and it's something that we've had a look at in depth throughout the term, particularly fate versus free will. It is saying that fate is effectively, or does effectively, cause Macbeth's downfall, and it's fairly easy to agree with that. So consider what you know about fate and how that was to blame for Macbeth's downfall, essentially. You write that down here, start your planning. Once you're done with this, start thinking about your introduction. You'll state your contention, and you'll briefly introduce the major arguments that you intend to present in your body paragraphs. You don't go into any detail with this at all. You're essentially just stating them for the reader, so the reader knows or should expect what's to come next. Once you're done planning your introduction, you will refer to the TEAL structure for body paragraphs, which is the topic sentence, the example, so explain your example, use some evidence, okay, to back up what you've said, as well as your linking sentence. Now, I've also linked a URL to on our Compass page to a YouTube clip that explains the TEAL structure for you. Do that for all 3 body paragraphs. Now, you can work on a 4th and 5th body paragraph, generally speaking. However, with the constraint of 600 to 800 words, I would recommend that you stick with 3 body paragraphs only. Your conclusion is a brief restate of your major contention, or of your contention, and of course briefly restate your major arguments as well. You don't go into much detail with this, and it should be as brief as possible. Generally speaking, this is the shortest paragraph in your essay. I'll remind you of the planning, where you are prompted to think of ways to express the same thing multiple times. This is certainly where that comes into play. You don't want to use the same words or phrasing if possible, so please think of a way to change that up. For prompt 2, we've discussed ambition several times and in great depth as well, so we won't dwell on this one too much because we do have a Webex meeting very soon. But of course, think about ambition and how it has cost Macbeth everything. We'll leave it there. I'll see you soon on Webex. Take care and keep working hard.